and I'm here with.
Laura, hola, ¿cómo están?
And today, I'll be honest, I'm a little tired. I literally just got home not too long ago from a 20 something hour drive. Um,
Tired.
and anyways, we're going to get through it. We got some really cool stuff to talk about today. Of course, our sole purpose and why, although we're 30 minutes late, we have the commitment to showing up on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, for our Happy Techno Hour because we believe in making the world a better place, one solution at a time. And what's the topic for today?
The
Oh, this is
topic.
us. I always forget about us, right? So I'm Eric. I'm the founder and CEO of DevTech. And then we have Laura here, who is our marketing lead. Alvin, some someone has to be taking care of the operations, right? When at a given time. So that's what Alvin's doing right now. Um, but we might, if I'm not here, Alvin might be here in my stead. But yeah, so we are your facilitators for this Happy Techno Hour. Ooh. So we have some knowledge bites. We're going to talk about the word of the day, and then how do we understand it, and then see what's in the news, and then we just talk about it.
Yeah.
But before
So,
we do that, yeah, go ahead.
yeah. So I was gonna say, before we say the word of the day, um, we might at some point wanna tease people into thinking we all have this role. Nowadays, I think everyone within a business perspective, right? If you're an owner, you are literally using one at least.
You should.
Um,
If you're not, you're working
I'm
harder.
thinking this is where I'm heading, Eric. I'm heading to the fact that we might not be aware that we use these tools and that we could use more of them.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, so because I love email filtering. I really do like that. I wish I would be more proactive into, when you become the mess, then you say, okay, enough is enough. I need to get these. I want to read this before this other one. And so you create these tools so that you get the right information at the right time, the one that you prioritize. And so, but you need to reach that level of confusion and chaos before you even say this is enough. I want to do something about this. So what do you put on that hat? You put a hat of many people in your organization, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
You gotta wear many hats. Um, I've
yes,
I've done that a lot actually in the past couple of months, where I'm fed up. I'm done. I'm gonna fix this right now.
yeah, yes, this is how.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
But
those
before,
bursts. Yep.
no,
No,
I
you
just
go
wanted to
ahead.
talk about, like, yeah, I just want to talk about before we get into it. What this is for, right? This is for you guys. This is for the audience. So if you have a topic, you have any comments, concerns, we can talk about only what the audience wants to talk about. Um,
Yes,
this is for you guys. This is supposed to be kind of like an open office hour for anything technology related or business related. And so if you guys put it in the chat, we're actively looking at it. So, but of course, we don't want to just sit here waiting for someone to write something and talk to us about something that they want to know about. So we come up with these knowledge bites so that we have content that we can share with everybody, and share a piece of us with everybody until someone wants to share a piece of them with us. And so that we can um, make that connection and relation with the audience. But yeah, without further ado, are we ready for the word of the day?
are you?
Are you?
Are you?
Let's see.
Let's do this. So. That's a lot of words.
Uh, I don't want to read. I just want to
I
see.
don't want to read. This is
Okay,
a great dynamic because there's an AI for that.
right? Just talk to me. Text to speech,
Hmm.
please. What does the screen
Hmm.
say? You know, that is a really cool accessibility feature. They should probably update the text to speech on the operating system level. Anyways,
Oh, is
I'm
that
going on a
not?
tangent. It is, but I'm
No, is
saying like
that not?
if I was blind, if I could just say, read me what's on the screen, and it would say,
Oh,
type
but
now.
I think there is, right? No?
Oh, I don't. I
Yeah,
haven't.
there
I need to
is.
look into.
I bet there is. At least when was that enabled? It must have been for several compliances. Yeah, I think I've seen some sort of would that be text to voice?
I've seen that. Yeah, Uh, hold
I've
on.
seen that, so I don't know. Um,
Yeah, there's enhanced screen readers. AI powered screen readers analyze on screen
hmm.
content and provide more natural and contextual relevant audio description.
Yeah,
Awesome. But
yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
we're
We
talking
that
about
that
AI
was a
roles.
good intro for AI roles because um,
It's
there
supposed to be
are
a tool.
just so many ways to enhance your workplace, right?
Absolutely. So, and that's really what everything. Why so many so much investment and time and effort has been going into AI is because it is a workforce transformation. Um, we're now able to get things ready a lot faster, things prepared for us to work, right? Because the computer is already built. We just got to make it work 24/7.
I'm not sure why, but I think I would enter a philosophical dilemma there because they don't, but some of them do, right? It's the whole
Well, the computers that keep the internet running never go to sleep.
they have to. Yeah.
We have to
That's
keep
when I'm
running.
not really happy about Monday. You know that feature ChatGPT? Poor thing. It has no soul.
Oh, the one that roasts you, like
Yeah,
it's just like,
has it been mean to you? Like I said, what's up Monday? It's Friday. It just goes ranting on my own little self. It's like,
I
are
don't.
you
I
happy?
never. I found it cool, and I liked the. It was mainly like a marketing thing, but
Yeah,
I never really used it. I just don't see a value in it.
haven't interacted. Yeah, me neither. It was just a little break.
Yeah,
I
but
thought,
yeah,
why not?
technology is seen as the most disruptive force on the labor market for the next 5 years.
Hmm.
AI advancements creating 11 million jobs globally by 2028. And so
Well,
it's like a give and take because really it's only making 3 million jobs
well,
because it
this
like
is where,
repurposed nine.
yeah, this is where I find myself a little bit hesitant into dropping conclusions when we create a report like this, when in an age that is changing so much. And it's only because it might just be there's lots of people, that the reality that there's lots of people being displaced in their own, not gonna say jobs aren't being lost, but they are changing also.
Yeah,
They are developing new roles in which if you're looking for a specific type of thing to do, then uh, this is the other thing that's stuck in my head when I look up for information, and is that a lot of barriers are being broken, because there are some availability for some technical roles for individuals that don't have a background, in that.
absolutely.
So
Because
I
what
think.
is it's
Mhm.
already trained what and this is what I've been telling like everybody around me. Before I used to say, like, people would ask a question that nobody in the room knows, and I would just be like, "Why are you guys? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. Everybody says I don't know." I'm like, "You have a phone, right? You have a computer in front of you, right? Why don't you just Google it?" But now it's like, you have AI, right? Why don't you just
Mhm.
ask AI? It might not be right. You still have to validate it. But if it's trained on everything that's on the internet, or most of it, and a lot of these technical, like for research purposes and technical purposes, it's going to give you a pretty good understanding and reasoning, because a lot of the um, technical aspects of it, the research, the scholarly articles and paperwork and stuff like that, is open source, right?
Mhm.
So essentially, this could be your teacher, or at least your guide as to how to understand these foundational things. I was reading a study not too long ago, and then I'm quoting without having it in front of me, um, where students learned a topic like 45% faster using
Wow.
AI and Chat GPT. And that's part of how education is trying to integrate AI into education.
Topic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that's
so
amazing.
and so
Yeah,
it's
well,
like, no excuse. If you don't know how to do something,
um,
it's your fault.
I I want to go with there is an excuse because not every parameter is met for everyone to have access to the exact same features.
You're right.
Because yeah, I'm gonna go with the that specific validation.
Yeah,
But
like open. You
but
can't
but
use certain
yeah,
models
we
in
can
other countries.
generalize. Yeah, we can generalize upon that. I know that there would be. I know that the disruption is there, and we are living in that era. What is mostly very exciting is that uh, the future and the generation will be created by, there were some jobs that we didn't had 40 years ago that we have today. And so the same goes for this new wave of thought and train. At the end of the day, we are being trained differently, right? Because kids are being exposed to this stuff and they are going to be great enough at some point and saying, we're the baby boomers that ruin everything and so on. And so all of that would be kind of like a wave again.
They just have
And
something that answers all their question. Hey, Dad, how do you do this? And
the,
why does this do that? And why does that?
yeah, and but the thing is that this is all amazing, and at the end of the day, we don't know what will be.
Exactly.
Because there be just so many other things, and they have already existed. Like I was just interesting on things that have been existed for so long anyway. But it's just lowering the barrier is good. Um, I think that could potentially be the reason why. You know how software engineer has had this stereotype of not understanding the user, from
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm gonna go with the stereotype only because this is the gap that is trying to break it. AI is trying to break that gap into I want to understand your language and you want to understand mine, and we are more expressive. You software engineer kind of like lack that a little bit, I dare
Not
to
me.
say. The stereotype. Am I talking to the stereotype I just mentioned? Yeah, not you. Not definitely
I'm
not
just
you.
saying. I know.
Yeah, definitely. That would not be a good example with you. But
I'm joking.
uh, yeah. So I think that even to me, like I don't have that background, and it has been a hell of a ride. It's been amazing to learn new things. So we're
And that's what,
changing.
yeah, that's what I love. Honestly, the having been a software engineer, having been a systems and having had my career,
Hmm.
the biggest growth that I have seen in myself is my level of communication with other humans, right?
Yep.
And like with other people, because and it's all part of the self reflection as to, did I say that right? And then I go to Chat GPT and I'm like, well, here's a scenario and here's what happened. And so then I start reflecting on the scenario as me as an observer
that
of the conversation with getting
that's
feedback.
super interesting.
Like,
I did read that most of the inputs that ChatGPT is get is actually, handling now has been through, self-conscientiousness,
yeah.
help and autodidacta.
Yeah.
That's
And honestly,
honest.
that's how I've been using it, is to help me get a, what is it really that I'm thinking about? Right? Like
Yeah.
what is the real train of thought? What is my
Mm-hmm.
consciousness really trying to say?
Yep.
And that
That's
has helped
great.
me a lot, because it's like you drive straight to the point, precision, drive straight through that target. And it's like, okay, well, now this is really what I want to talk about. Here it is.
Mm-hmm. So what are these roles?
Let's
Where
talk
are
about it.
they?
Where are they? What are we doing? But I also want to clarify, AI roles
Yep.
is really from a job. Like where are the jobs at with AI, right? Like
In the same
what are they
places
going?
where they've been.
Where they it's the same place they've been.
They've always been here, okay? Just haven't seen them.
Yeah. So marketing, you see it everywhere. AI images, AI video, AI marketing analysis, AI SEO, right? Like it's
Mhm.
I don't think I've met any person in marketing that is not using AI right now. I think if they're not, they're either extremely good at what they do, and they're just, AI has not caught up to them, which I highly doubt that now. I feel like in most part, most of them have integrated some portions of what they do with AI,
Mhm.
or they're learning those rough foundations. But even then, they're probably using AI to understand, like, what do I do next, right?
Mhm.
Um, and I think
Road
that's
mapping.
that's the piece. Yeah, human resources, absolutely. I mean, we've been using AI to throw resumes out for a really long time.
Mhm.
um,
Yeah. I remember when those keywords, and when the keywords one where like I used this platform in to do some hiring before. That was a while ago, maybe 10 years ago.
wow.
And there would be the tools of the keywords then. And you know how now there has been this whole new way of prompting a big data set of information, and then give me the top three on that has more experience on, and so and so and so. And I think that's just like, wow. I really wish I could have a tool like that, because whatever has taken, 3 hours can now take even a lot less. So I could have saved those hours before.
Yeah, and I've never been a fan uh, of a system automatically declining, or like, just removing
Yeah,
a
well,
candidate.
true.
and
Mm-hmm.
I feel a lot more confident, or at least okay about it now, because we do have, better artificial intelligence working on it. um, I
Mm-hmm.
was totally against it before, because I knew I knew what type of algorithms were, and AI was doing it. I'm like, poor people, I'm sorry you're not getting that job. But it's like, now I feel a lot more comfortable, because it's like, okay, um, unless it's like decision making, right? Like, as long, if it can give you a summary, right, and
Yeah.
you, from that summary, you say, not
Mm-hmm.
really what we're looking for,
Yes,
then that makes the
exactly.
most sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think that's where we're at now, right? You have summaries,
Yeah,
you have scorings, you have these, you
you
have
you
more of an
if you want to
intelligence.
get to the top of your applicants, like the one that it has been, the applicant had to at least do some sort of, I remember there was a time in which I was looking for jobs, since you have to streamline your CV every time that you want to land on a specific job. And so if you were to be lucky to be streamlined by some human resources that had like good tools to analyze you, then you're lucky you're at the top, right? So I think it's fair, and it's also, again, is this is probably being used by a human. No, it's not like
I
full.
hope, the human is seeing more than before,
Exactly.
because I
Hmm.
don't think it was possible for a human, like as for these big corporations, I don't think it was possible for a human to be able to
Yeah,
sift through all that. But I do
that's
think
true.
that now it should be a lot easier and a lot better, in getting the type of people that you're looking for.
Yep.
Operations, that's just
uh,
doing things faster and with
Yep.
less. Do more with less. And that's
Hmm.
literally what operation cares about. And that is what we're doing with it. We're doing more with less.
Yep.
And just trying to keep moving forward with that. But that's, I mean, we're actively working on this. This is the majority of all the projects that we have are, um,
In the operational.
operations,
Yeah.
automations, using AI to optimize supply chains or production processes. And that's fair, because that's where we need the most help, because no one's been no we have, but it hasn't been to this level, right? It hasn't
Hmm.
been to this level for any of these sectors. And
Hmm.
the one, this is my bias, the one I feel that is the most valuable is the
Uh-huh.
operations. Because I'm
Oh,
the
yeah. I
I
think
like action. We got to get done,
re
get stuff done.
remember, you tell me, remember when you said that the data was the blood, and operations is the heart, right? Like,
Pumping
I
all that
agree
blood.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think, well, you see it from the perspective, from your technical background perspective of a system. And honestly, I've always seen operations as kind of like, wow, like that's kind of like the heart of any business.
All right. And then customer service is just being able to respond in a timely fashion and making sure that you have a really good search engine, right? That's going to be able to provide the right response, um, the way that your clients or the person asking for help is going to be able to receive it. Sorry, I just had a fire come in. Um, so
Okay.
that
It's
is going to be an issue, but let's keep going and we'll go from there. So how do we understand it? So the way you have it here, do you want to explain the colors?
Yes. So let's just say that if we drop this line of the AI concept, you are going to be AI roles, which are the
Purple.
purple ones that have already existed for a while. They have evolved into, let's say, AI developer, but they have already existed before. You were a developer. The thing about these specific roles is that a model manager might have the exact same role as the AI developer in some cases. But the way that they are portrayed in this image is that some of them might to be filling in some spaces, and they have been evolving right now. Like the emerging AI roles have been definitely just data scientist and engineer, the head of AI prompt. We've seen prompt being one of the most successful use cases when you use a good one. And the ethicist, which is something that, well, I wouldn't call it emerging, but definitely it's going to be something that we will be discussing, like a little auditor. We had
Exactly.
we had Q&A processes in the development of software process before, but now we're adding up these role. That means that someone needs to be taking care of this part of the task just so that it's filled. And then the new, I guess, model validator. I didn't call this. I look up for new roles that have been emerging, and I think the validator, the decision engineer, and the knowledge base is your to go when it comes to developing AI.
That's a good
Uh,
point.
yeah, I wanna. This is my favorite part of how it's being explained because I think I like your take on the colors, but I was trying to input something that was, complementary from the business understanding all the way to integration testing. So, um, how do you understand it?
Well, this is actually how I view that as as we solve all the world's problems and AI becomes a big component of how we solution for them.
Mm-hmm,
Um, these are essentially going to be the departments that we operate under, right? You have the business owner or the business expert that has the business understanding, right? Then we need the folks that help prepare the data. We have
mm-hmm,
the folks that actually create the models, the ones that validate the model, and make sure that it's working as expected. There's also monitoring. Then there's the actual activation as to how do we interface with that model, and then deploying that model, and then integrate that model, and then start testing it, right? But when you mention like the color wheel thing, is like, well, you have your primary, and then you have your contemporary. You have your business understanding. Well, with business understanding, that means we need to have monitor that business understanding with the AI monitoring. So that's where I feel like all of these have their contemporary. You're doing the model development so that you can deploy it.
mm-hmm,
You're doing their data preparation so that you can actually use it and activate that data. The
mm-hmm,
model validation, well, that's going to be tested. Whether you did your
mm-hmm.
validation correctly or your
Correct.
architecture
It's
correctly,
what it's
well, it's
gonna
going to
work.
be tested over here by
It will
by
be
the validator.
integrated. Yeah,
But you're right. I
yeah,
mean, it all, like if you're talking about who's going to work with who, well, the
it,
business kind of going to work with the AI monitoring, because that's probably where um the dashboarding and things are going to be, right?
yeah.
And
I
then
have a
the
typo over there of the
I saw
engineer. So
engineer,
yeah,
engineer.
engineer.
And then we have, when the receptionist in this case, or whoever's testing this, has a problem, well, they're probably going to go to whoever validated the model, right? and
Mm-hmm,
and and make sure that, hey, so these are kind of like your checks and balances here as well. But it all flows. It's an ever ending cycle here.
mm-hmm. Yeah. I like how that's and exactly. It's the complementary West, the color, right?
Yeah, so you
The
have your
word.
primary and then your
Yeah,
complementary.
I thought that was a great example of how have you ever seen these videos of the product has been tested completely and such and then the kid comes over here like playing it differently and it just mess up the whole prototype. You know, they're
Oh,
just
oh yeah.
you
The
did
kid.
like
Yeah,
anyone,
you don't know what the
using
user is actually going how to the user is actually going to use it.
thank you. Yeah, you just don't know how everyone is going to. So your validation is crucial. And so I saw. So I put on some specific examples of what does it look like, and it's everyone in the business, right? That will have an AI role at some point, and from the business owner all the way down to the person that is at the front end of your customer base. So, yep, I think that's a lot of impact in businesses.
No, this is, if you're a business, this is what you should be thinking about
Mm-hmm.
between this and this. It's kind of,
Yep,
we're kind of giving out a free strategy out here.
a little bit, right?
A little bit.
Um, well, one of the things that did struck me on that 2024 teen survey is that I also found that these numbers continue to be rising for the exact same industries, right? Product development, marketing, and IT have been the top, uh, the top leading on the board. It doesn't goes to say that other industries have also implemented AI in their arsenal, but it does mean that they at the top of them all, the IT has, continue on these usual trend to be at the top, and I just see how this just like every business that we've had added in the past as a client have been from these other places where they have not seen the changes of AI, and they are right now inputting investments. So that's really good.
I also see it like, you have a cup, right? And where do you pour water first into the cup, and then all the other cups beneath it? Is like when the
Mm-hmm.
first cup overfills, it goes into the next one, into the next
Yeah,
one, into the next one. That's what
that's
I
a good
picture.
example. Yep,
That's what I picture here, because if you look at a
it's an
company,
effect.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're a complete manufacturing, because I think manufacturing company has all of these, right? A
Mm-hmm.
big manufacturing company. It's going to have
Yes.
supply chain, it's going to have strategy, it's going to have risk, it's going to have all of these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really expensive to be a manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
when you have a production line, you don't really want to mess with it until you know that you're going to like plug and then play something else, and
Then
it's
yeah.
nothing's going to break.
Yes. Yes, that's important.
And so when you start making revenue and profit, what's the easiest thing to spend money on, or to invest in, without having to break your production line, right? And so it's going to be marketing and sales, and then it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be product or service development. Like, what else can we build with what we have? And then IT, because it supports pretty much all of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
um, and so that's kind of how I view, and this is only for generative AI, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this is I would see that service, human resource, risk move up. Actually, all of these are moving up. All of them are moving up. But the ones that move the most are going to be,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it means by other corporate functions, but service operations, strategy and corporate finance, risk and human resources. Of course, I'm going to bundle software engineering with IT, because I think
Mm-hmm.
that really those are going to those are going to be one, and that's all just going to be one block, right? So whatever is here is going to be part of this. So IT is actually ahead of marketing and sales,
Mm-hmm.
if we group it together.
Yeah.
um and then we have strategy and corporate finance, because now with Gen AI, they should be able to communicate with each other. The corporate world should be able to communicate with each other a lot faster, because they should be able to be coherent on what it is that the strategy is, and point and make changes a lot faster to that strategy than they've ever been before, because of Gen AI.
Hmm.
Supply chain and manufacturing are the harder ones to do, because they're physical world things. Like, you have to physically
Yep.
understand where
It's
things are.
way more disruptive. Yeah.
Exactly. Um,
I
so
I
that's
think
where
we saw
robotics goes.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's another way of replacing. It won't entail that much of, well, it does entail most of the labor force, the big
Exactly.
labor force.
Yep.
Uh,
That's where all the labor overhead
yeah.
is.
Hmm. But there is a way. I think we discussed an example of how I wasn't surprised of seeing several industries that were not at the top, only because there is expectation in reality, that right? In terms of also the technology, we can't really go to a farm and expect AI be implemented right away. So it's the exact, but again, certainly there has been some
I'm waiting for a
great.
farmer to call us. Like,
I
I would
think,
love to work with them.
have you
I
have
have a lot of
you
ideas as to how we could implement AI on
yeah,
in so
we
many ways. I've been thinking about it for so long, because um, one of the things on the roadmap, because we do have a client that is a restaurant, where it's like, well, if when you have the money to invest in your own
mhm,
sub vertical, or your, yeah, your own vertical, get yourself your own farm, right, to grow some of
your
your produce.
production. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's super neat, right? You either create a great partner, which you already had on the side because you already have a supplier for all of those. But then that supplier could potentially be interested in knowing, oh, where do I get AI into my process? Well, I've seen farms with several, how do you say, dispositivos?
assets.
Yeah, that could be asset, definitely. That control of the AI is there. It's
Yes.
just it's not necessarily, hooked with the weather. So so
Yeah, there's the whole, I think
the
that's where,
database
like, the
is the
whole
weather.
harvester,
Yep.
that was AI, that it would do the pattern to harvest um, via
That's
AI. No
nice.
one was driving it.
Wow. I bet that exists, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. I saw it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hold on, let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole video. Yeah, with the sower and the harvester.
That's nice. Were you looking up for the news?
Hold on, let me see. It's this one.
Ah, nice. They just left them on their own.
Yeah, so they've been working on this.
Yep, definitely. Good.
So our final thoughts is, you got to embrace for this change if you want to be competitive with the future, right? So this is it's a really promising um, and an opportunity for any business, because now the playing field has been leveled. So it's just up to how you really um, strategize that through using it, right? So making sure that you have the challenges, and then that could be through reskilling your workflow, your workforce, redesigning your jobs, and then start thinking about how does this implicate um, your your ethics, right? Does it imply any ethics to this? Um, but yeah, if you need a seasoned tech partner to assess how AI will impact your specific industry or your business model, then um, give us a chat. We have a free consultation where we help craft a technology roadmap that aligns with your goals, with your business goals.
Yep. So that's a wrap.
Thank you. And you can reach us out on YouTube, LinkedIn. Can you believe we have a Twitch, Facebook, and Instagram and TikTok? We just keep adding icons to this, right? There's just more social media icons that just we keep adding like every week.
Yeah, we want to grow on our social media. So
Yes, please like,
hopefully
follow,
we find
subscribe,
we find
all of
our,
the things.
find our next client from somewhere lingering, trying to reach the right AI partner.
Absolutely. So thank you. You can scan the QR code, go to our website at evdevtech.com, or call us at 832-937-9622. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Goodbye.